Where'll you be going?
Texas?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Go on, make it happen.
And now here's Steve and Michelle.
Welcome from the heart of Dripping Springs. We are Mallet and Michelle, hosted by me, Michelle Lewis, and Steve Mallet.
Da-da-da.
And today we have a special co-host,
We do.
Carlisle Kennedy.
Carlisle Kennedy.
Hey.
I can't believe you let us rope you into coming on the show.
Sucker.
I'm questioning my decisions.
I would right now. We also need to thank our sponsors,
M. Elliott Studio,
Nomic Power Solutions,
Capital Farm Credit,
and Mallet Integrity Team.
And Carlisle's a real estate agent, too. And we'll
She
talk
is.
about that later, actually.
We
but
will.
Not right now.
This is the first time we have ever brought someone into our little monologue.
You should feel very honored, Carlisle.
I am.
You are. You should be.
I am.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. So we're just going to have her she has no idea what she's talking about. She has no idea what she's getting herself into, what our subjects are. So
And here we go.
here we go. You go ahead and start there.
Yeah, I want to, my dad moved into Jovie, Belterra, which is an apartment building. Carla, you said you didn't. Did you know where it is over there behind
Oh, yeah.
Belterra? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a 55 plus, adults only. Not like that. 55 plus apartment building.
Way to go there, Larry.
Apartment building. And they're luxury apartments, and people are starting to move in there, but they've been doing like 2 events a week. Like they had a book club, they had a sangria party, they had an ice cream party.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't your dad do like jazzercise or something?
He did. It's a dance class, not Zumba. It was like Cuban dance.
I don't know, but I want to see this. Can I go? Do I have to live
Yes,
in
you could go. Yes, you just tell Marilyn and Audra that, hey, yeah, I'm thinking about moving in here. They'll let you do all the
Let's
events.
go. Let's go.
It's cool. They have a really nice outdoor pool. They have a club room that we hang out a lot that's got pool and a poker table and all kinds of seating. And they have a really, really nice gym. And my dad's been the only one that's working out there because there's not enough people moving in there yet. So
Here, move over this way because I was trying to get you into the camera view too. I also heard you told me that your dad brings 2 little tangerines to the front workers.
Audra and Marilyn every day.
Isn't that sweet?
My 82-year-old dad, he buys bags of cuties and he takes them 2 tangerines every morning.
That's sweet.
Didn't you think that Steve Mallet was born under a rock? The fact that I've actually met a human that
He
helped
adopted me when I came out from under the rock.
crawled.
He lifted up that rock and he pulled me out.
That's right. I went over a week or so ago and gave my dad a workout routine in that gym that is his own personal gym. And then Audra and Marilyn asked, well, could you do a class for us? I'm like, no, I've got too much going on.
No.
Oh, Steve, please do a Zumba class.
Doing a Zumba class.
Zumba class.
Not doing a Zumba
Please,
class.
speaking of working out, we just put some AI pictures on our social media,
Yes.
and you're ripped there,
I know.
Steve.
I've
Look
always
at that.
been ripped.
Look at
Yes,
that. And you
yes.
are ripped. Anybody that's believing that, I do have some oceanfront property to sell you in Arizona. Yeah.
You know what? For 61, I feel pretty darn good. That guy in that AI picture is maybe 45 and on testosterone for sure.
Well, we spent about 15, 20 minutes of our work day playing around on Instagram, these AI pictures. And then Steve, what is the second thing Steve does is imagine me as a king.
That's right. I did. Have you done any of those, Carl?
No, I haven't, but I've seen them and a lot of them because I know the people that are in them that I'm like, that's clearly not them.
Yeah.
Right. But they look so real.
I think
It's crazy.
Yeah. I think what they're doing right now is they're making it so that it is obviously AI.
It has to be because
but-
that's real freaky.
Yeah,
That's like,
but I mean, it kind of has sort of a cartoonish fairy tale look.
You
to
did
it.
one that said "make me a soldier" or something, and it made you a Turkish soldier.
Yeah, it may be like a soldier in Turkey. Why the hell would it do that? Unless the AIs did, I don't know.
Maybe. I
it
don't know.
knew your genetics, so maybe somewhere back there.
I don't know.
Or
I
some
said
12-year-old.
the one that cracked me up the most was I said, "Make me an old man," and it just showed a picture of me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I have a story. I know you have a kind of a trend that you were going to talk about. I have a social media trend. So these influencers are starting to do more and more extreme things to get people to follow them. Have you seen that on social media? It's like every time somebody does something, somebody else has to one up it.
If you only looked at Carlisle's and our Instagram or TikToks that we share with you, we go down these like what was the one we just went down?
The girl, well, which one? We've been down several recently, but you're talking about the girl, then she's like a Catholic,
like not a trad. I don't know. We just go down the most bizarre rabbit holes.
Well, this one's going to be pretty bizarre.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see if we haven't already discovered
I'm going to get a from you for sure. Okay, Brazilian model Deborah Pixoto from Brazil. I don't know. Has
Steve, why are you researching Brazilian models?
Yes. It just came up in my feed for some reason.
I have no idea.
She's been touting a bizarre skincare routine that involves caking her face in her own poop.
No.
It's true. She has, how many followers does she have? Thousands of followers. She went viral for putting blood on her skin to soften it. And now she has one-upped it. And she is putting on face masks of her own poop.
Well,
there are actual pictures of her.
Oh, wait. I want to.
There's a
She has
picture.
to pinch her nose closed, I bet.
She has a clothespin on her nose and poop, her own poop.
That's not the
Spread
picture
on
he
her
was
face.
looking for. That's the picture he was looking
Oh
for.
my God. And what is the theory behind it?
She says that there's something about it that makes her skin soft and removes blemishes. She has 650,000 Instagram followers.
Good.
And she posted this video, shows her with the clothespin. But the doctors are warning this is a dangerous thing.
No,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be like a massive jump in pink eye now.
Oh, yeah. That's probably the worst. One doctor says susceptible to bacterial and viral infections, food poisoning, as well as redness and discomfort. I mean, think about it, like when little babies, have a dirty diaper for like 20 minutes, how their bum gets all
That's
red.
almost what it's like when I would stick Mary Kay on my face right there. And I was like, that stuff was, but
thick.
You had me watch a documentary that they were putting poop in capsules and eating them.
Did you see that, Carl?
No. Wait. Like, what is wrong with people?
It was
this documentary, it started out.
I'm
You
also
thought this
wondering
was a serious podcast, didn't you?
why we're watching documentaries about pooping
well,
capsules.
it wasn't all about poop capsules.
So here was the documentary. It was about how your gut biome controls so much of your whole body health, which makes sense, right?
Yes.
So there's like 8 episodes. The first 5 or 6, it's talking about what people eat and foods that make people have, allergic reactions. And,
They're slowly building you up to the capsules.
so this woman, her gut biome is unhealthy, and her boyfriend's gut biome is healthy. So she's taking his poop, putting it in capsules, and eating it.
Oh my God.
We just lost 1 million freaking listeners,
Sorry, y'all.
Michelle. They're gone. They'll never come back.
Wait until the next subject that I'm talking about. You'll love this.
I just want to wrap mine up by saying, if you see this on Instagram, please don't do it. It is just not good for you.
Who in our listener realm is going to smear caca on their face?
They're not. Their children are. When their children,
That's
when their
true.
girls
That's-
see that, and they're like, oh, well, this is what I need to be doing. I will die.
That
I will
is the
die if I walk in. and
Exactly. It's not people our age that are doing it. It's the young people that are easily impressionable. Yeah, it scares me to death.
I think it's beyond impressionable. You're just flat out stupid at that point. Just stupid. Okay.
Darwin Award.
Oh, Darwin. Absolutely. So along with that realm, we're going to move up the body parts.
Oh,
I have been seeing this trend even on Dripping Springs mother's page or mama's page or Facebook or whatever. And it's about milk sharing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's about people sharing their breast milk with other people on
Yes, I've heard of
Facebook. And
What?
look, yeah, so I get the whole idea of, I mean, I have 3 children, you have 2 children, you had kids. You didn't breastfeed your kids, Steve, but you know, I breastfed my kids,
I might have tried.
you might have tried, and then that's a wrap. I know we're done.
Oh my God.
But the risk of contamination of bacterial, of viral, it hasn't been screened for any type of infections. There could be drugs in this person's system. I get the whole premise like, oh my gosh, my freezer went out. I need milk for my child. But there are actual systems in place for a reason. You don't know how this milk was stored. You don't. I don't understand why they're doing this. There's a whole, you know, back in the day there were wet nurses, right? So when someone couldn't nurse your child.
Tell me what that is. So,
a wet
go ahead.
nurse?
Yeah.
Well, a wet nurse was like, let's say, even if you have like twins or triplets or a nanny at the time, they were the ones that were feeding your child. They were the wet nurse.
They were
right?
lactating because they had
Yes.
a baby at some point and they never stopped lactating because they just
okay.
nursed their, you know, the other people's children.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and then you have like premature babies. You have critical kind of just sick children that need it. And for some reason or another, the supply is not there from the biological mother. Even like adoptive parents, right? I understand the whole idea about using someone else's milk that is not yours. But there is a process. And just this morning, again, I had already had this on my radar to talk about it. Just this morning, again, I saw somebody asking for more milk. And I was like, what are you doing?
Hang on. Somebody's going like on Neighbors and saying, hey, I have a 3-month-old baby. I need some breast milk. Who's got some breast milk?
Yes.
Is it like that?
Yes, and it's, you know, you'll
From anybody.
They freeze it, they date it. I saw somebody say, well, mine says it's expired because I honestly, it's been so long, I don't remember how long
don't
it's
either.
supposed to stay in the freezer or whatever. You don't know the integrity of the freezer. You don't know any of that stuff. And now, even if it's
Or the health of the woman that's donating.
Or was she
them.
drunk? Or was she drinking? Or was she taking,
A supplement or a
like
gummy.
a pill
Yeah,
or
opioids.
anything? Yes, anything that could filter through to that breast milk. You
And
don't
so
know.
I don't understand
I
that.
don't either.
In a in a regular situation where a mother is breastfeeding and she's not able to provide milk, there is a place
Yes.
you can go where medically
milk
you can
bank.
get
It's the
milk.
Human Milk Banking Association of North America. There are only 27 endorsed milk banks across the U.S. They're FDA approved, which, whatever. But there's also a set of best practices. If you are getting something, even from like your sister, right, or a family member, and you know their history, you do need to disclose all of your medical info. You need to be asking the questions or disclosing the information about how the milk was stored. What are your lifestyle choices? Are you a smoker? Are you a non-smoker? I mean, there are things that are you an occasional drinker? You have a glass of wine? All of this stuff is being passed down to your baby. Now, a lot of times people are using this just to supplement when they're over 6 months, in the cereal or it's not like their only source until they get to cow's milk when they're about 1 year old. But I just think this is a dangerous, dangerous practice. And honestly, I'm surprised Facebook is allowing it to happen because you're not supposed to even sell like animals online, but you're not
Are
selling.
people selling it or donating
I don't,
it?
maybe it's like if they donate.
I bet they're donating. I bet.
But even
has to
still, I don't want to like go out there and mom shame somebody, but come on.
It's funny to
people.
me because if you have a cow and you milk the cow and you have fresh milk and you put it on Facebook, they will remove that.
They will. The raw milk, you're not allowed to buy raw milk, right?
That's
Like
what
under
this
certain
is,
circumstances.
really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's raw milk. It's not filtered or cleaned or tested or any of that.
I actually think if you sell raw milk, you can get prosecuted.
I think there was something about that because I'm trying to remember the lady that we had on our podcast. Oh my gosh, I could see her face. She's in Wimberley. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyways, her store had raw milk, and I think the farmers market occasionally has raw milk. That's different, though, right? Because there's pasteurization process.
Well, and those farms have certification.
Yes.
where it's. I would assume. I don't know.
I don't know. So I just
It's funny to me how some people get so upset about silly little things on Facebook, but then they're posting stuff like that, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine."
Yeah, no, I don't
I
know.
feel like
I
it would counteract the benefit to doing the breast milk if you happen to get some that has Benadryl in it, or
yeah.
you know,
See, that's scary.
any of that stuff. I know,
Fentanyl.
right?
Oh,
yeah,
know?
anything.
I mean, a trace amount of fentanyl that would maybe just make an adult high might be fatal to
And
a
there's
baby.
so many
Oh my
nefarious things out there. You know, I mean, you could see somebody doing it just for the sake of doing it, right?
Well, like people that are fake, like you said, this is a scam. Like
Yeah.
you've called things out on Facebook before, people posting for whatever, and you're like, y'all, this is a scam.
Well, can you imagine, like, when I go to a hotel and it has, I usually bring my own shampoo, conditioner, and everything else. But, you know, those things that are affixed to the wall and you're like, immediately no. I don't know what somebody has, especially if you can remove it. If it's fixed to the wall, like, and you can't remove it and they have a lock, okay, that's one thing. But if it's sitting there, I am not using that because I don't know, somebody did something in there, put something in there. I'm not.
Put their poop in it.
Oh my God. You're like,
That's at the
I don't
facial.
love the smell.
Yeah, so refreshing. No, immediately no.
Oh no, it's your turn.
Wait a minute. I thought you had another story.
No, you're doing the UK story.
Oh,
Unless
great.
you want to do the Australian breakdancer.
Oh, I want to know about the Australian breakdancer. That was awful.
So I have no idea what this story is about.
Oh,
Okay,
goodness.
So this is a new
Category.
a new category for the Olympics
Yeah.
this year. It's
Okay.
It's called breaking, and basically it's breakdancing, and they are awesome, and they kind of do these battles. They're called battles rather than rounds, and they one against the other. And so one will go and do their thing, spinning on their head,
Spin
all
on
that
their head,
stuff,
yeah.
and then they'll like get up and they'll they'll like motion to the other guy, and the other guy goes. Well, this I don't remember who the Australian person was competing against, but she gets up there and she's 35, 36 years old, which is kind of, I feel like, old for that activity, if you
Yes.
will. But she gets up there and she looks like all of her moves. You know, when you get those little caterpillars that fall down on the ground and they just kind of wiggle around like
Yeah.
all different ways, right? That's what she looked like. And it's like, is she having a seizure? Is she?
stroke?
It was.
Oh
it
my
was like
gosh.
got to the point where people were like, she's making fun. She literally scored straight zeros.
No,
Straight
really?
zeros, yeah. And her one shot.
But
Oh, God.
Do you remember the hobby horse competitions we were talking about, Steve? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so she looked like the hobby horse competitor. That's not her. So this is showing what it would
There
look
she
like.
is. That's her.
Okay.
And her
but
name's
there's no
Ray J or
video.
something. There are videos available. So a lot of these, actually it's so funny. That's the horse, apparently.
She was awful. She was
It was bizarre. Like, I feel like he searched, go back to the YouTube. It's like right at the top. There's a shockingly few amount of videos of it online. I don't know why.
well, maybe,
Reagan, that's her name. Reagan.
Do you think?
Here she goes, y'all. I mean, she's going right now. This is it.
Well, they've sped it
Oh,
up. but
I thought you were doing that. Okay.
no,
Yeah.
it's sped up. I don't know. why
Dang.
it's
So you
doing
can't
that.
really see it.
It's almost like they've. It's horrific.
Okay.
And so I'm a proponent now for hobby horse.
So I saw in the Wall Street Journal last week, because we did that hobby horse story about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
There's like the hobby horse national championships.
you're
and
kidding.
I swear to God. And
Yeah.
they were,
Yeah.
It'll be on the Olympics.
I bet
In
it
LA.
will be actually.
Mm-hmm.
And they were showing these girls training. They look like they were about 15 or 16 and they're doing high hurdles and they were totally taking it very seriously.
I also want to say that the U.S. kicked everybody else's butt and we won. We had the most medals, even though I'm proud to say I did not once watch one full competition. Now, I did watch part of the women's basketball Sunday morning, but I did
So,
not watch one
just
full thing.
Something a little
Unreal.
controversial. Most people just care about how many gold medals, and we tied with China.
China rocked it in several different.
Yeah,
But we
91 to 126 overall.
well, it's
for the
because they
medals.
get killed if they don't get the gold medal.
Oh,
so
God,
yeah,
Michelle.
there's that.
I mean,
Oh, canceled.
Lord,
Canceled.
yeah. There you go.
Hey, that segues into my next story
Canceled.
for sure. Did you hear now? UK.
Before you go on,
What's that?
did they award medals for the breakdancing?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that person literally won zero.
Full medal.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Go
there
ahead.
are.
Did you hear that the UK is banning free speech and arresting people.
I saw some headlines on this, but I don't know the full story.
Okay, so
And I should.
this is the premise of the thing that I understand what happened. So some young girls were in a Taylor Swift themed dance / yoga class or something. Somebody came in and killed several of these girls. The attacker or the murderer was misidentified as a Muslim / migrant that had come into the country. He was not. He was a natural born citizen of the UK. His parents were. Right.
Okay.
But from that, huge riots, migrant riots have transpired, and they've labeled them these far right riots. Right. Well, the UK police are now cracking down on people on social media that are posting against this, not against the riots, but that are, I guess, pro-riot or saying the migrant crisis is out of control here in the UK. And so they are basically saying this on X, and the prime minister, is it the prime minister? Or maybe it was the chief of police, I can't remember, have gone after Elon Musk, and Elon Musk has now doubled down. And they have arrested almost 4,000 people for remarks on social media. And now they are threatening, this is the best part, because now this is why I'm saying it. They are threatening to arrest and extradite U.S. citizens because the people on X are doubling down and standing up for the people in UK that can't stand up from themselves. And so if you go to X, all you're going to see is just information in support of all of this.
So extradite Americans, so they're going to come over here and arrest them and take them back?
No,
they're gonna extradite.
They're living in the UK, and they will put them on a plane and ship them back to the U.S.
No. The people that are posting here in the United States, they will put forth extradition
to send them to
to
the UK
send them to UK
prosecute them?
prosecute. Yes.
Oh yeah, good luck with that.
Well, that
what-
doesn't make
what,
a bit of sense.
Yeah, I mean, hello, we. How are you going to do that? You going to arrest me for my Facebook page? I don't know. It's crazy.
So is that British police getting on an airplane flying over here?
No, they're going to get on their horses and
their
put
hobby
their red
horses.
coats on. The red coats are coming. The red coats are coming. Apparently, in UK, there's no general right to free speech in the UK. Which, I mean, obviously, we have our constitution, and we left. We left them for a reason.
I guess I don't understand what the problem is. Like, why can't people speak out against something? Like, why is that a problem? If they're threatening violence, I could understand why they would be like.
They're calling it the Think Before You Post campaign, and they are being prosecuted for thought crimes.
Oh,
That's
my
what
God.
that's what gets me when you're trying to figure out what somebody's thinking to prosecute them for a crime, because more often than not, when somebody posts something, they're not thinking about every single word and with the intention that it means exactly what it's supposed to say to the person that reads it. They're just commenting on something, and it's not that doesn't mean that a part of their brain is racist or misogynist or homophobic or whatever other ish word out there that you want to use. And the idea that somebody would say something and they could go to jail just scares me to death.
You know, I saw an interview with Don Lemon and Candace Owens the other day, and Don Lemon said, he asked her, do you have any gay friends? And she said, I'm a mother of 3 small kids under 3. I have no friends.
Who said that?
Candace Owens.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
said, oh, so then you're homophobic? And she goes,
Are you serious? Was that a joke?
No, she goes, what exactly does that mean? She goes, I'm sitting with you in an interview. And she goes, it's such a BS thing for you to say to me. Because I have 3 small children under 3. I have no friends right now.
No life.
Yeah, no life.
Outside of this.
But it's terms that people just like to label people and throw them out. And it's just, so don't go to UK. You're going to be arrested.
You said a word this morning when we were talking about those AI pictures, which you can see on our Instagram.
Yeah.
And they're hilarious.
Fat Steve.
But you talking about gaslighting, and it's more and more and more and more. Mm-hmm. It's almost like there's more gaslighting than truth out there right now.
Well, when does gaslighting just become a straight out lie? right?
I think they're one and the same.
Yeah.
I
do too.
agree. I mean, like, look what's going on in the world right now, world politics in the United States. Like, who's in charge right now? We have a president laying on a beach. Like, who's in charge? And nobody's interviewing anybody. And I don't know.
I think Carlisle's sitting here right now going, what the hell am I doing?
She's regretting her life choices
let's
right now.
Let's get fired up on this. Let's do it.
She's regretting her life choices for sure.
Well, I think you're right. It's an interesting time. A lot of, some people are saying things are up when things are down and vice versa. And it's just time for us all to be very critical of what we read. And that's what I was getting out of those AI pictures, is just because your eyes see it anymore doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's
I mean,
real.
we know that with the art of real estate photography.
Oh
that's-
gosh,
Right?
yeah.
How many times have you seen pictures and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then you get there, you're like, whoa.
Well, there's no smell-o-vision yet. As soon as smell-o-vision comes out, do you remember? I remember during COVID, we actually had this presentation here. It was like a 3D presentation. I'm like, this is the wave of the future. You're never going to have to go visit houses anymore. You're just going to be able. You're going to put these AI or what
Yes,
were they?
I've
The
seen
3D
that,
glasses.
yeah.
And it
tours.
It literally made me like nauseous walking through and like looking up at the ceiling. And I'm like, but it has no. You can't smell it. Yeah, I want to be
Feel
able to
it.
smell,
Feel it.
feel.
Feel it, yeah.
I mean, we've walked into houses where we feel something.
You're like,
you know what? I'm gonna back on out of here.
Yeah.
Well, and also, what do you see across the fence?
Yeah.
And what's it like the 100 yards when you're driving down the road to get there? There's a whole thing that you can't do.
The neighbor's dog that barks all day long.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. This guy came into our office and he set up in our conference room this AI thing. And I put those glasses on and I walked up the stairs. It looked like I was walking up the stairs. And then I got to the landing and all of a sudden I was standing like 20 feet in the air over the living room. And I almost fell to my knees because it scared. Yeah, because it looks like you're in the house.
Oh.
And then I was sick the
You're
rest
gonna
of
fall
the
off of
day.
it.
I was nauseous the rest of the day.
Yeah, we have one of those. I've played it a couple times, and I feel like it's
Makes
like
you woozy.
seasick kind of thing.
Yeah, it can't be good for our kids to do that.
I was
stuff all
nauseous on some of those AI pictures you posted. Just kidding.
I was nauseous. What was yours? The Queen Michelle.
Oh yeah, you said I look like Game of Thrones. It was pretty funny.
Which one? I
don't
just
know.
saw
I
your
had-
sexy abs one.
Yes, my sexy abs one. That was a good one. Let's see how many people fall for that one for sure. Well, we should probably come back and thank our sponsors and get to know Carlisle.
Now we're going to get to know you, Carlisle.
Unless she leaves and comes out the door.
Just delete all that. I'm going away. So hang on, sit tight. We'll be right back with Carlisle Kennedy.
Are you tired of being left in the dark when the power goes out? Say goodbye to blackouts with Nomic Power Solutions.
As your full-service Generac dealer, they offer individually designed backup power solutions.
From start to finish, they've got you covered.
Nomic Power Solutions, keeping you powered up.
Call or text 512-387-4232 or visit nomicpower.com. Follow on Instagram at Nomic Power for updates.
Nomic Power Solutions. Protect your home, protect your family, stay ready. Proudly sponsored by
At Capital Farm Credit, they understand that owning land is more than just a transaction. It's a legacy, a future, and a place to call your own.
For generations, Capital Farm Credit has been the trusted lending partner for land loans, farmers, ranchers, and rural dreamers just like you.
Their personalized loan solutions cater to your unique needs, making the journey to land ownership smoother than ever.
Capital Farm Credit, your land, your legacy. Visit capitalfarmcredit.com or Mark Rutledge at 512-892-4425.
Capital Farm Credit, an equal credit housing lender.
Interior design should be an investment in your life and home. Let M. Elliott Studio transform your space, where interior design meets excellence in Central Texas.
Beyond just selecting colors and furnishings, team principal and owner, Montana Elliott, is a trained and licensed interior designer.
With her knowledge of architectural principles, building codes, space planning, and design theory, her team will work with you to understand your needs and lifestyle.
From concept to completion, M. Elliott Studio is committed to enhancing your space with a timeless and classic style.
Ready to redefine your space?
melliottstudio.com, 512-781-0224.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Mallet Integrity Team of real estate professionals. They are based in Dripping Springs and bring you over 45 years of combined experience helping people reach their hill country real estate dreams. When you want the best in town, call them at 512-829-2062 or look them up at malletintegrityteam.com. And now, here's Steve and Michelle.
And we're back. Now we are just going to talk about Carlisle. No more poop and boobs and social media and just Carlisle. Hi, Carlisle.
Happy time with Carlisle.
Hi.
We are so excited to have you join us. I have been friends with you for several years, but just really over the last year or so, really have gotten to know you a lot more. My daughter babysat for you for a couple of years.
I might be wrong, but I think the first time you guys met, you didn't hit it off.
I don't.
Did you not like me?
No, it was at. I'm not going to say her name. It was at her house, and we were in the back, but we were having cocktails.
I think you guys had one of those conversations where, you were on this level and Michelle was on this level and you guys just didn't connect.
Oh, I need to know more about this. You'll have to tell me offline.
Yes.
But
I
then the next time you guys got together, Michelle said, "Oh, she's great. I love her."
Yeah.
I was having an off night. Thank you for giving me a second chance.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. But tell
the
us.
reason you didn't get along wasn't because of you. It's because of her.
I'm sure it was.
Michelle.
There was something else that we were involved in. I don't want to say. Now you're just like, you've put me
just
into
threw you under the bus
put
'cause
me
that's
into
what I
this
do.
loophole.
That's what I do.
No.
You've put me into this loop.
Stay there for a while.
I'll just mention Bruce Springsteen and we'll get right back on track.
Thank you.
But you have lived here with the kids for how long?
My ex-husband and I moved out here 13 years ago.
Wow.
We built a house
Oh,
in
long
Belterra.
time.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize.
Grace was 1 and Henry was a figment of our imagination.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Dallas.
Okay. And moved down to Austin and
So when I was in college, my mom and stepdad, who I lived with in Dallas, they moved to Austin. So Austin became home for me when I would come home for, Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. And, I mean, you can't come to Austin and spend time here and not love it. So
Yeah.
I quickly just set this up as home.
the thing that I always kind of thought was fascinating about you, and you were probably the first person I really got to know that went to boarding school.
I did.
So what was like?
Ooh,
explain that to me. What all
Yeah.
girls?
and what ages were you there?
I was there my junior and senior year. I went to Darlington School in Rome, Georgia. Beautiful school, wonderful school. It's boys and girls. It's co-ed. Has half dorm students, half day students, people that live in Rome. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Was it kind of a college prep school as
Yeah,
well?
very much so.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't because you were in trouble.
No, never me.
It's like a military school.
No, it was not. It was very much of a you're privileged to get to go here
Yeah.
kind of school. Like it's beautiful.
And what happened after boarding school? Where'd you go after that?
I went to Alabama for 2 years.
Did you really? I did not know this.
I did. I went to University of Alabama. Roll Tide. And then I had a lot of fun. And my parents said, get your butt back to Texas. So I came back and I went to Tech. And I graduated from Tech.
Why did they want you to come back to?
Because,
Texas?
apparently I was supposed to be in college for an education.
Oh,
But rather I was in college for my sorority and my boyfriend and my friends.
The
and
social
all.
life.
Yeah.
So did you graduate from Tech?
I graduated from Tech, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my son graduated there. He loved it.
Yeah,
I want to
I
go
love
back
Tech.
to the boarding school. Do you think you'll send your kids to a boarding school?
I would love to send them. I love the opportunities that it provided for me and the education, my grades, all of that just exploded. It was amazing. And, I would love to. I just gotta have to sell a few more houses.
Yeah.
It's a pretty penny these days.
I was going to ask you. Yeah, it sounds super expensive.
It is.
Probably like the cost of a college tuition.
Very much so, if not more.
Oh, crazy. What did you
know.
get your degree in at Tech?
Human Development Family Studies with a minor in Substance Abuse Studies.
Oh, well,
wow.
that's perfect for living here in Dripping Springs.
And now you sell real estate.
And now it's a real estate, exactly.
So you had a big life event. What year was it that you helped your stepdad? With his-
2018.
2000. So pretty recent, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And tell us about what happened.
So my stepdad, Mark, he and my mom were married for over 40 years. And he had his liver failed and he was needing a transplant or he was going to pass away. And all we knew was that transplant was something you get from a cadaver, a donated organ. And at one of, when we were going through all of his doctor's appointments and trying to figure out what direction to go in and get him treated for the things he's having at that point, we found out one day randomly that living donation is a thing, being a living donor, because the liver regenerates. Just like you can be a living donor of a kidney or things that there's multiple of, things like that. So I was like, I'm going to call, I wonder what blood type I am. So I called the blood and tissue center where I've donated blood before and found out my blood type. I didn't know my blood type and found out I was a match to Dad, which we're not blood related. So I was like, wow.
So the only criteria was that you had to be the same blood type.
No, there's a ton of criteria, but that was the first one.
That was okay. Because nothing else matters after that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So when I found out I was the same blood type, my brother and sister, I have a younger brother and then a younger sister, and my sister is his only blood child. So we all got tested. We're like, well, let's see if any of us can do it. And all of us were matches, which is bizarre. Yeah. And we all went through lots. So there's 1,000 different steps of testing, scanning. I had to sit in a MRI machine for an hour.
Oh, geez.
I almost feel like I had PTSD from that. It was insane.
Yeah.
So went through all of the testing and everything. And we got to the point where they're like, y'all are all matches. And they told me, they're like, you're a match. Like you just need to lose some weight before the surgery. My brother, he had something different about his anatomy of his liver or something. He had an extra valve his surgery was going to be more complicated. Okay. And then my sister was at the point where she was like, they were about to starting their family. And so it was kind of like, a little, not good timing for them. And I was established my career, done having kids. So I was the best candidate in terms of all of that to do it. So I did it, and we did it on October 30th of 2018.
What did that entail for your body, though?
So they take out 70% of my liver.
So they go to the front or the back?
Yes, the front. I have about a 14-inch scar down the front of my abdomen. They go through there, and it was about an 8 or 9 hour surgery. And they take 70% of my liver and they put it in him. And then they both regenerate to be fully functioning livers.
So you had 30% of your liver left.
I did.
Was there a risk that 30% could fail?
Yeah, there's a risk of all that. There's all kinds of risks.
Well, I was going to ask you, so I'm sure that the doctors sit down with you and go, here's all the possible things that could happen. That's got to be scary, isn't it?
It is scary.
Super scary.
And it was definitely, I'm thinking I've got my family, I've got, all these things. And then if I die in the surgery, then I don't, who knows? Yeah. So there could be so many different things, but really all in all, the risk was low.
Okay.
There was risk. It was more of I felt that there was more of a higher risk of kind of things after the fact. Where, it's like wound healing and potential side effects on your body, from all of that infection. And so my body just freaking out. There's just so many things that could go wrong. And that didn't scare me as much. I feel like I'm healthy. I could handle all that.
So what was your recovery like?
It's actually amazing. It was super easy in my mind. So we had the surgery, and then I was in the ICU for 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. And then I was heavily medicated.
Sure.
So it's kind of a little bit of a blurry vision of those first few days. And then I was moved into normal care. And I was up and walking the next day.
Wow.
And then moved into normal care. And then the pain meds they had me on were so strong, and they were really messing me up. Like my vision, my kind of just in la la land for way too long. And I hated it. I'm not a big pain med person anyway. And so I told him, I was like, we got to stop. We got to turn it off, turn off the machine and I'll take Tylenol and Advil. So I flipped on day 4 or 5. I left the hospital on day 5. So day 4, I just flipped a Tylenol and Advil regimen, and
Wow.
I was discharged on the 5th day. My dad only had 2 or 3 more days at the hospital, maybe 5 days more.
And
Is at
now
home.
He
He passed away.
Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
no, it's okay. No, he passed away 2 years ago, on November 13th. But so one of the things was the effects of his liver failing were causing him to have dementia type symptoms.
Okay.
And they were like, in theory, if he gets a new liver and that's the problem, then those symptoms will cease. They'll go away. There is the chance that this could be covering up dementia, Alzheimer's, or something like that. In his case, that's what it turned out to be. So the liver replacement caused his, obviously his body was back in business, but his brain started declining. And he had what's called Lewy body dementia, which is a fast progressing dementia.
Okay.
Which I look at as a blessing, because people can live for so long with dementia. And it's the most painful thing to watch. So that gave him another 4 more years. He got to meet 2 more grandbabies.
Wow.
He got to find out that my little sister was pregnant with her second. She was able to tell him. He was kind of it was 2 days before he died.
Oh.
So he wasn't really kind of verbally, but she was able to tell him that she was pregnant. And the last month, we all got to be there, every day, alternating or together, or, taking turns every night and spending the night at the home with him. And so it was a blessing that we got to have that.
Did they
time.
know what caused his liver to fail in the first place?
So he was a drinker, and so alcohol, and then he took Tylenol PM a lot. So he would have, a glass of wine at night and then take Tylenol PM to sleep. And, that's like poison for your liver. So it's alcohol, but combining the two is just.
You know how many years he did that before?
A long time. Yeah. I'd say probably 10 years.
How did you prepare yourself emotionally prior to the surgery? Because you were married, you had 2 young children. And so to get into that headspace, I'm sure that you had this strong parental connection to Mark, but then you were going to have even a stronger physical connection with him, because you're sharing a piece of your body with somebody. But there's still the true story that you have small children, and that I'm sure your mother was a freaking wreck.
She's a mess.
And your mom's in the healthcare industry, so she knows all the risk. But how did you prepare yourself and get your mind ready to be able to do this?
I finally got confirmed for the surgery about 30 days before. They were like, all right, we're solid. Here's the date. I had to go on they wanted me to lose 20 pounds.
But did they talk to you in the psychology aspect of it?
Yes. So I did have I was meeting with a therapist, and the whole transplant team at the UT Transplant Center in San Antonio, they have all the crew. They have the health, the mental health, physical, all the various aspects of it that you meet with and things like that and talk to. And that's one of the evaluations I had to go through, was the mental.
Make sure that, you weren't going to freak out.
Yeah.
You started to say they wanted you to lose 20 pounds in 30 days. How'd you do that?
I didn't. I tried. I was unsuccessed at it. I lost 15, I think. I just ate very healthy, very, very clean, very, I had to give up alcohol. I think I quit drinking about 45 days before the surgery. And then I had to commit to a year of no alcohol afterwards, which was not a problem.
Yeah, if you only got 30% of your liver, I could, even just one drink would probably just destroy
Yeah,
you.
because I want to know about the regeneration in your own system. How long does it take a year for now? So is your liver never going to be at 100%?
No, it's at 100%. It was at 100% 3 months after the surgery.
No.
It completely regenerated.
I never knew
it was
this.
Unreal. It was the coolest experience. The surgery, the recovery, the realizing it gives you a really big insight into your body and what it can do.
Isn't the liver the largest organ in your body besides your skin?
That might be the case. I think
it's crazy.
what it does for us is unbelievable.
Yeah.
all the crap we put in our body.
That puts you in
It
such a
processes everything
special
out.
category, Carlisle, like a percentage of people that are living donors.
It's kind of cool.
It is. I mean,
know.
it's just like there's not that many people. You talk about the cadaver aspect. When my very best friend, she passed away, I remember she hadn't even been gone like 3 hours or so, and the eye transplant team came in to harvest her eyes.
my God.
And I was like,
my God.
you mean you're going to do this like right here in the room? Like you're not going to... But it is. It's something. I mean, you're donating a portion of your body for someone else. But I mean,
amazing.
aside from children,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wow. So, what was the connection between you guys before and then after?
My dad,
Yeah.
we had all my life had a magical connection. Like
He came into your life. How old were you?
I was 5.
Oh.
So I don't even remember time before him really. Like
Yeah.
I don't have many memories of the time before. My parents divorced. My mom and father divorced when I was about 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived with my mom in Dallas. My dad lived in Port Aransas and Corpus. But Mark was very much of our dad, like our,
You have a father, but he was
I
your
do.
dad.
Correct. Yeah. He was the one that coached my teams and was there for me when I broke up with a boyfriend, all that stuff, right? When I was being a punk teenager, he was the one that was putting a club on my car so I couldn't take it. He tried all the things.
For those younger parents out there, that's what we did before cell phones.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm going to show you. You can't drive your car.
Yes. So I had that on there regularly. But he was just the glue that kind of was our family. So all of us emotional people, my mom, me, and then there's him. He's just super chill, and he's the best guy I've ever met. And so it was not a question on whether or not to do that, because of just thinking back of all the things that he did for us. And it was not a question. My mom tried so hard to talk me out of it.
I was
Because
going to ask your
coming
mother
from a
or your
mom.
husband. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how were those conversations? Like, Carlisle, come on. Like we know, but
Well, Brian went with me to most of my meetings, testings and all that
That's
stuff.
your
So he was
ex.
able to,
Uh-huh.
that's my ex. He was able to ask his questions and all that. And he kind of followed my lead on it. But
that's very admirable of
yeah,
him.
very
too.
much so. Yeah.
So if I do my math right, Grace was about 8.
Grace was, let's see. Yeah. So she was,
So
8.
how was she through this? whole
They were
thing?
great. They were both amazing. I don't know that they really understood what went on,
Yeah.
but they understood that I had a big surgery and that, at the time, I don't think they understood. Now they
that
do.
you were doing that to help Grandpa Mark?
Yes. Boompa is what we called him.
What is it?
Boompa.
Boompa.
His name is Mark Busboom, and he is German, and so he came up with his
Boompa.
grandpa name is Boompa.
Oh, the boom paw.
Yes.
That's sweet. So now, you have continued to live in Dripping Springs. You're separated or divorced from Brian, and I have watched you like so eloquently because I've seen so many friends go through separations and ultimate divorces. But the way you've carried yourself and being a single mom here in Dripping Springs, it's got to be intimidating because we're a very, quote, family-oriented community. How has that been? How's life been navigating through all of that? And just like now you're single Carlisle and
Out on the town, right?
out on the town. Yeah, out on the thriving
Driving
nightlife.
carpool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's been interesting. One of the things that comes, the divorce thing was I'm very blessed, thankful for this. My
Yes.
ex-husband and I worked very hard to make our divorce as amicable as humanly possible.
Yes, and you
thinking
co-parent
about the
very
kids.
well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's rare.
it is very rare. And that
Yeah,
is not lost
kudos
on
to
me
you,
how special that is. And he and I are still we work so well together. And, but Dripping Springs is not really a community of single people. And I'm not the kind of person that's going to be going out to the bars to meet boys. That's just not, no. So
There's a rotation of single people, right? Isn't
Yeah.
there like, oh yeah, you've dated this person and that person and this?
I bet you there is. Like if you start talking around to people, but I got, when I was going through it, for a while there, it kind of had a life of its own and it became my identity. You're going through divorce. Every time I'm with anybody, how you doing? How's everything going?
Yeah, I know.
How are the kids? And I'm like, we're good.
Did you?
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
Did you have any experiences where, because you have a large group of friends as a couple, and some of those friends took sides?
We didn't necessarily have friends that take sides that I know of per se, but naturally you get dropped off a lot of invite lists, right? You know, all the
'Cause
couples
you're not
that
a
you,
couple
right?
anymore. That happened to me when I got divorced. There was a few people that I considered decent friends that just stopped talking to me, and I was like, wait a minute.
They just didn't like you.
That was probably true. They liked my
gone,
ex. They
thank God.
didn't like me.
God.
Yeah, we'll invite Steve's ex and her plus one.
And we've had, we had a bunch of couple friends that were friends with both of us. And there have been several times over the past 2 years that we've been at the same thing together. And it's fine. People are like, Brian's coming. Is that okay? I'm like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Like, of course that's okay. Thank you for, being respectful and asking. But yes, absolutely. I'm
So
not
how
going
are
to
you-
not come.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But how are you meeting people then?
I'm not.
Okay.
It's new. My divorce was just finalized in June. So kind
A
of.
couple months ago?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So-
I thought it was a couple years ago.
Well,
I'm
we
sorry.
did a trial separation for a year, and then my dad got sick, and Brian, bless his sweetheart, like he was the king of the world while I was dealing with my dad dying. Like he took on all the things with the kids. So, dad passing away, I was like, I can't focus on this right now. Like I need a break from this stuff.
Yeah.
And then spring came around, and then we kind of started rolling things, and really officially started it in August. So it wasn't really
Yeah.
a little under a year.
Have you done any online dating?
I've explored it.
Have you?
It's freaking bizarre. There are the weirdest people out there. Y'all know that, right? This world is filled with weird people.
Yeah, well, like we were talking about the AI pictures
Yeah.
beforehand,
Oh,
and I'm
exactly.
sure that it's
Oh.
just also
Yeah.
filled with AI-ness and
I'm sure.
and selfies in the mirror of them 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But that's like
Yeah.
Yes.
The weirdness thing. It's sort of like when you're married and you're in your day-to-day life and you're taking your kids to school and dropping them off and doing birthday parties and stuff on the weekend. You're not exposed to it, but then you start dating and all of a sudden you're exposed to it and you're like, wow, I didn't
Yeah.
know any of this stuff really happened in the world.
It's weird. There's weird people. And if you think about it, most people at our age have baggage, right?
Everybody has.
Everybody
baggage.
has,
Everybody.
but in terms of romantic world, right?
Yeah.
They're coming off of a divorce, or however it went, or they're never been married, which is the biggest red flag in the entire world to me. I don't know why. If you're in your late 40s and you've never been married,
there's something wrong.
I think so too. And I'm like, I don't need to hang around to figure that out. Like I'm
Yeah.
good.
I don't want to fix anybody anymore, right?
Yeah,
like that
no.
would be
That's right. That's exactly it. And man, I've got some funny dating stories.
Okay,
Like,
I want to give
tell
us
us at least
give
one.
us a
This is the best.
Tell us
This is
one.
the best one.
Okay.
So it was early on when I didn't do it for very long. I didn't do the online dating, but when I just started it, and I connected with this guy, and we talked whatever online or whatever. And so then I was downtown I've forgotten what it was, but I was like in heels. It was some realtor event, and I'm 5'8" without heels on. So with heels on, I'm probably 5'9", 5'10". I don't even know. But so I go to meet him at some restaurant on South Congress. And so I get there a little bit early, and I'm like, I'm here, and so then there's like a pony wall. When you walk in the door, there's like a pony wall that comes up that you walk through to get into the restaurant. And as the door opens and this guy walks in, and I swear to God, he was no joke, he was 6 inches shorter than me. And he walks in, and I'm looking at him like, oh God, that's him.
This is the guy.
This is him. And he comes over and he goes, Carlisle. And I stood up and I had to look down and
my
shake his
gosh,
hand.
jeez.
Because also I've got heels on, right? And so,
Palumpa.
and he had hands that were the size of my son's hands, like my 10-year-old. And I remember when he shook my hand, and I don't have huge hands, my
felt like
hand,
a giant?
yes. I felt like I was holding my Henry's hand.
You went on a date with a child.
So did he put in his bio that he was 6 foot tall?
No,
or
but I learned at that moment that that's something important to ask. Like some people do put that in there,
There's
some people don't.
criteria.
Yeah, I am 5'2", just FYI.
So yeah, I
Terrible.
guess you do. You really have to say what are the things that are important.
I want to know the follow up. Did you sit down and have dinner with the
So
guy?
we sat down and we had a drink. one
Okay.
drink.
And
I
then-
was
Did you
like,
get a booster
what did
seat
you,
for him?
what did you say?
Yeah,
You're like,
right?
You're like, don't
well,
call me.
so we were sitting there and he started talking. He was asking me what I did and I asked him what he did. And he owns a company, some sort of online security company. And God bless, I hope it's not a listener. And he said, he talked about owning it and like what it was like. I asked him, I was like, what's that like? Like you have a lot of employees. And he started telling me about how terrible he is to his employees. And he's like, I want them to be scared of me. And I'm just like, you are, and there's 10,000 red flags
Listen,
already
Chucky.
since in the 30 minutes since I've met you. And then he had like a knife in his pocket and he pulls it out and he's like this dress all like classy, but he pulls out a knife and is playing with it. I'm like, dude, we're at a bar. Like, what are you doing with a knife in your pocket? So then we leave and I go get in my Suburban. Cause you know, like the
And
mom that I'm,
he gets in his clown car.
$250,000 Audi sports car thing that
geez.
you see like 3 of in your lifetime, and he gets in it and he flies out of the, and I just died laughing.
But
I was just
did
like,
you-
what just happened?
Did you, like, you said your goodbyes. Were you
Mm-hmm.
like, don't call me?
No, I was just by and I got like,
Just
I
like,
left.
okay, see ya.
It was also, I haven't dated in 18 years. Like, it's like, what? Call me, don't call me. I don't know what you say.
Was he, this might be too much. Did he try and hint that he wanted to go further than that? Because that's what I hear from some women is that the guys go on a date, but they think it's just a hookup.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't any of that.
I don't know.
That's why he showed
I'm
you
not-
his knife.
I'm so right. Yeah, that was the test. Like to see how.
Yeah.
I am so not in tune with what to look for or listen to or anything. The whole time I just kept sitting there staring at his hands,
The smallest.
his baby
I'm
hands.
gonna put mine underneath the table.
No, Steve, they were like, oh Lord,
You're poor
like
guy.
he couldn't hold a tennis ball.
Oh, jeez.
Like they
Oh
were
my
little.
gosh.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, bless
Yeah.
his little heart.
I know.
Bless
I
his
know.
little heart. Yeah, that's some good
Yeah.
times.
I have in my notes here, Mean Girls. What's that?
Oh, so one of the things that I know that you've been recently navigating, and I did too, Steve kind of did when Gracie was younger, when his daughter was younger. But are these girls in middle school getting meaner and meaner and meaner because of social media, or are they born mean? What
I
is
think
going
there's
on?
a combination of the two. Because at least I will tell you that some of the mean girls that I've learned are mean girls are often it's a mirror of it's a learned.
Do you think it's
behavior.
a lot of hormonal?
Cancer, yeah.
Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of these girls, they kind of grow out of this. They're trying to find their way, right? Who am I? Because, but then, yeah, I think you're right. Like I've hung around some of these younger girls when Kendall was younger, and their mothers. You're right; they are mirroring what they are seeing and how these women are treating others or not treating other people. That's been really hard for Gracie, right?
It's been very hard. It's been very that Grace has learned and conquered the world of resiliency this last school year and finished the year with AB honor roll. Like she knocked it out of the park, but it was an every single day for a while, crying after school, things like that. It was
heartbreaking for you too.
It was devastating.
It's got to be jealousy on a certain level, right?
I don't know. I can't imagine. I mean, it's. I don't even know.
The reason I say that is because if you're intimidated by another person, you try and break them down to bring them down to what your level, the way so that you're more equal. And so if they think they're prettier or smarter or have more friends or whatever, they're trying to bring them down.
Yeah.
So is this all like
the case.
on social media, or are they texting these? Nasty
there was
things?
experience of texting. There was experience of sharing memes or whatever on TikTok or I don't even know the various social media.
What does the school do about this?
It's difficult to work through that with the school
Because it's not happening on school property.
but some of it was.
Okay.
Like some things were happening at school and we apparently, I didn't know this, but on the DSISD website there is a place where you can go to file an official notice or whatever. And I didn't know that. I was unaware, but we were very much like kind of talked down to for the fact that we didn't go that route. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So we have a problem with school. I'm going to call the school. Like, I don't know what you go online and fill out a form. Like, no. So we spoke to the vice principal and they did some sort of, it was not handled well with the school, the way the process by what they did it, but they had called in, they call it like a friendship circle or a recovery circle or something, but they called all the 3 girls in and Grace and then the other 2 girls, and they asked them, are y'all doing this? And they're saying, yes, we're sorry, vice versa, all this stuff. And it was just the dumbest thing I've ever heard, like the things they talked about. And it was very poorly handled.
Yeah.
And
how would you wish it to have been handled?
I wish there had been more accountability with the parents. Like we were asked if we wanted to file official bully, that we had the qualifications or whatever to file official bully complaints that would then go on their record and whatever. And we talked about it. Grace and I and Brian sat down and talked about it. And we decided that we weren't going to do that. If it continued now at this point on, different story. But I felt like, these kids are young, immature, narcissistic, like that's age group with some girls are like this, and hopefully they will evolve out of it. But I don't feel like putting a permanent ding
Carlisle,
on there.
I feel there's somebody very close to me that is experiencing some social media falsehoods right now as we speak. And there are some people that are going to be real surprised when they get, what is it? Libel? I think it's libel. Because it's ridiculous what you can just go, even if you have a name, you're going there and you're putting information out there that is not false or that is false.
Yeah.
So the big difference is cell phones and social media.
Oh my
because
God.
like when I was in school, somebody might pass a note around that 6 people saw and that would hurt my feelings, but it's not like the whole world. Now there's stuff that the entire school sees and
beyond, and it's going to follow them. I mean, follow them forever. This person I'm speaking of is an adult, and it could not only potentially jeopardize their job, which their job is standing behind them 100%, but it could potentially have future implications. And I think these girls don't realize this stuff that they're putting out. It can follow them. I mean, look, they can pull up even deleted X or Twitter comments.
Nothing ever
years
goes
later.
away.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, and the worst part of this is that young kids are killing themselves because
Yes,
that's
exactly
where
right.
I went with all of this, is that I want, because Grace is an amazingly kind, but she's very internal with her feelings and stuff like that. And so I wanted to get ahead of everything. And I wanted to be the supportive mom.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try and let it kind of hopefully work itself out between the girls. And then at one point I did reach out to one of the moms, and crickets. Never, she didn't even acknowledge my texts. No. And then nobody ever called after the school stuff happened, and the school apparently called the parents, but I don't know what was said to them.
Right.
Because neither parents reached out to us, which I thought was bizarre. And I think that's a huge problem. And while the kids are one thing, these kids are immature. Like, their brains aren't functioning at their, they're not fully developed. They're immature. They need to be guided and taught.
I remember a conversation
punished.
that we had with one of Kendall's problems. They sent us to dinner at Trudy's. We went to dinner with them, the parents. We would need to talk about Kendall and this other girl. And she handed me this. I've talked about this before in the past. She handed me a stack of papers and said, I just want to let you know, this is what Kendall's been texting my daughter. She slides it across the table. And I took that stack of papers and I slid it right back to her. And I said, yeah, she probably said it. And I said, look, wait a week. They'll be friends again. Like, your daughter's doing the same thing to my daughter. I don't agree with it. I think this is ridiculous, but we need to wait a week. And the parents, I think, made it, there was no accountability on their part and towards their child also. And I talked to Kendall, and then a couple months later, the other girl got in huge trouble, ends up having to go to a different school because of it. But it's like, come on, let's, I get teenagers and kids are going to be kids, right? But when it becomes the harmful, and it's like you're posting pictures and
you mentioned Grace is a model of resiliency out of all this. Do you feel like she's a terrible thing, kind of really. But has she grown out of it a little bit? Has she become a little bit stronger of a person?
I think these kids need everyone needs to experience things like this, right? The denial, the rejection, the whatever, and learn how to overcome it, because it's something that is going to continue to happen throughout her life.
Actually, yeah. If they get through that and they do have that resiliency, it is a great tool in life, because unfortunately there's mean people all the time.
I know.
And it's a good tool to have. Now you're selling real estate.
Been doing that for a while.
Yeah. How long have you been an agent?
13 years.
Oh, has it been that long?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was 7 or 8 years. But
13 years. And then I was, I managed short sale portfolios for a bank back in those days. When all that was happening around the country. And before that, I was a lender for 6 years.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
And then before that, I was in design. So I've got a little bit.
That's actually a nice mix
I
of
know.
things to have as a real estate
She's
agent.
got some really cool pieces at her house, like really cool. Like I'm going to steal her dining room, her kitchen table.
Oh, isn't that fun? I know, I love it. That was one of my splurges after a closing last year.
I'm going to totally
or 2
steal
years ago.
So you've been in the business total almost 20 years between the lending and that. So do you think this is the worst downturn you've seen?
Yeah.
How are you navigating it?
It's been tough, but I have one of the things that has grown with me over the past 2 years is my faith in God. Like I, whenever I've had down times in real estate and I get stressed about it, like we all do. Because we've had,
it's part of the
deal.
deal.
Half the year some years are just terrible, and then it picks back up. And now we have no way of preparing and knowing what's coming. While the stress was there and the anxiety was there at that time, when that time went away, ended, I looked back and I realized what the other things I was able to focus on.
And who else was carrying you?
And who else was carrying me, right? And so that has been life-changing for me over the past few years.
That's happened to me a couple times too, where I've been really worried about how slow my business was, but I was dealing with something else in my life. And then when that was dealt with, the business comes back and I was like, man, I'm really glad both those things were not huge in my life at the same time, because I'm not sure I would have handled them. Wow.
Or you wouldn't have handled them the best way you could have, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad also through the separation and through the divorce that you decided to kind of just stay rooted in your family home. Also, there was so much kind of turmoil and things that were kind of happening, and you said, you know what? No, I'm gonna stay here, and it's what the kids have needed.
Absolutely.
Henry's now 10 o'clock. Henry's
He's
10
10
years
o'clock.
old.
He's 10.
He's 10 years old.
Starting 5th grade tomorrow. Last year, Rooster.
Oh,
I know.
Crazy.
I know.
Well, I just enjoy my friendship with you so much.
Love
I wanted
you.
to tell a really quick story about
And
Carlisle.
then I want to ask her about her 30-day summer reset.
Okay, yeah. Well, this probably goes with her 30-day summer reset. So she had some tickets to Bruce Springsteen,
Lord.
and
I have that on here too.
yeah, and we decided that she invited us to go, and we call Todd our tuber, so he drives us and drives us back.
The Todd Uber.
And so we're sitting at Bruce Springsteen, and it was a packed house. It was a great
So
concert.
good.
All amazing. It was really good. And then I texted Todd. I said, "You just let me know when you're on your way, because it's crazy and it was cold outside, and we'll make our way out." And he said, "I am almost there." The way he said it, I misunderstood the way I said it. I said, "Hey, Todd is at the Y&O Kill." And I think what he said is, "I'll let you know when I'm in the Y&O Kill." And I said, "Hey, he's at the Y&O Kill. Let's one more song and then maybe we can go out." And Carla was like, "Well, wait, he hasn't sung
All
best
the
song."
songs that I wanted to hear.
Yeah, all the songs. So
Born in the USA, Glory Days, none.
None of those?
But not because they were at the end of the concert, right?
But in this concert, okay, the girls had gotten up to go get a drink, and I swear they wouldn't have believed me if they hadn't seen it for themselves. I'm sitting there by myself, and there's people in front of me, and they sit down with a backpack, right? And in the backpack, all of a sudden, they unzipped it, and this cat pops its head out. I swear to God, popped its head out, looks around, and they put the cat back down in the backpack. And so they go get their drink. They come back. I was like, girls, I don't know.
Y'all aren't
I'm
gonna believe
how
this.
high am I at the Bruce Springsteen concert? Those people have a cat, and they're like, you are so full of it. There is not a cat. I was like, yes, there is a cat. I swear to God. And then they saw the backpack rustling around and I was like, I promise you. But yeah, so we ended up leaving the Bruce Springsteen
Oh my
concert
God.
before all
Did
of
you
this.
hear any of the good songs?
I made them. We went down to the flight and I made them go out and we stood on the security guards are like, you can't stand here. You have to go find your seat. And I'm like, you got to hear this. What's going on right now? These girls who are my guests at this concert are making me leave my concert.
Before the good
song. And then they start playing. And so we sit there and we watched.
We sat there.
We saw some of them.
We saw some of them, and then we sat on a corner being cold because Todd was not even in the Y&O kill yet.
Yeah. We missed the whole concert. We missed basically, in my mind, missed the whole
Todd
concert.
drops you off and picks you up because he knows how much trouble there goes on when you guys are all together.
Yeah, bad decisions can get made.
That's right. That's why we have tuber. That's for sure.
So you mentioned when you came in, Carlisle, 30 days of summer reset.
Yes.
So so what does that mean?
So it's 30 days of healthy eating. I'm working out, challenging myself to work out at least 5 times a week.
Okay.
And no alcohol for 30 days.
Is that
30
hard
days.
not to do the alcohol?
I'll let you know in a week or two.
She just came back from Mexico with me, so that's
I'm
a
like,
good time.
I feel like I need to give my body a little bit of
You
time.
do. Yeah. Anytime you go with Michelle, you got to have a reset.
Time to unpickle, right? And like
Unpickle.
I just have had trips and food and alcohol and not as many workouts as I'm used to and things like that. And so I just need to.
Is it something that you did like yourself, or is it something that
I'm
you
doing.
saw?
I started it today.
Oh,
It's
no,
not
no,
like
no,
a program.
like a
You just
program.
said- you
No,
said,
I'm just going to
need
work out. I'm going to eat healthy, and I'm going to not drink
What do you think
alcohol.
will happen after 30 days?
I don't know. I have a feeling that I will probably enjoy the not drinking thing.
Yeah.
I do.
It's September, so it'll be September 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking with my friend Javier and we were riding yesterday and we were talking about drinking. And the problem with when you're drinking, and even just occasionally, you don't have a baseline to say, this is what myself looks like without alcohol, and this is what I look like with alcohol.
Yes.
So 30 days away, you might look in the mirror and go, oh my gosh, look at the difference. So it's nice to take those breaks away from those things to see how you really are without it.
I've been doing a 2-year health journey kind of thing. And actually August is my 2-year anniversary of it. Working out with my trainer, Carly Garrett, who's just amazing. I think Kevin's been on here. Yeah. Yeah. Her husband. But working out with her and then just eating healthy. And I've gotten so strong.
Yeah.
And so like my body is so different than it was 2 years ago. And I love it, but I've kind of plateaued. And I tried what's the medicine?
Ozempic,
I tried the
semaglutide.
I tried that one for a couple of months. I was like, well, maybe this will push me over my plateau. Just try it.
Yeah.
It was horrendous. I
Really?
was sick every day.
Oh, God.
I felt terrible. I had headaches and nausea, all of that. And
That's why you lose weight, because you can't eat.
Yeah. And for me, I have to make it a permanent
lifestyle
lifestyle
be a
change.
lifestyle
I
thing,
can't just take medication to so I quit. It gives me the nausea feeling just thinking about doing it again. It was terrible.
When you say healthy eating, what does that mean?
Lean meats, fruits, and vegetables. I do factor meals. I don't know if y'all ever tried those. They're really good.
I haven't, but I know what they are.
They so I get 8 a week, and when this week I don't have my kids. They're with Brian, so that's basically what I'll just eat those. I love them. They're
and
great.
the kids will eat them as well?
Yeah, they love them. Yeah, but I don't let them eat them because they're mine. Yeah. I'll make y'all something
Here's
else.
your hot pockets.
Exactly. Yeah. But Grace will sometimes eat them. She likes them.
Yeah. Are you going to change your workouts then too?
I'm working out with Carly 3 days a week. And then I am going to incorporate, I don't know what yet. I was talking to her about that this morning at our workout. I'm probably going to walk a couple times. My good friend Lainey, she's one of the tennis instructors out here, but her and I used to walk a lot, and we're going to start doing that again. Just anything to move for an hour.
Yeah.
Even if it's just an evening walk.
I
Doing
got
swimming or anything like that?
So I've thought about that, and I might. I do. I haven't done swimming in years, but I do love it.
Did you do swim team or anything like that?
When I was younger, yeah. I mean, I can swim.
I just bought a vibration
great
plate.
work.
Yeah.
Do you know what those are?
What?
The vibration plates.
No,
I
are those
bought-
those things from like the 40s that women shake?
similar?
Are you kidding?
It's very similar.
You have been taken to the cleaners.
No. My rheumatologist suggested it because I have lupus, and because I sit all day, and it can
like
really help
blood
with
flow.
inflammation and vascular issues, and so I just have to stand on it for 10 minutes, and it I got it yesterday, and it makes me itch. Like it's crazy, but it's weird. Like I was like, you can stand with your feet close or apart, or you can squat. There's like whole other things, but when I was standing in a certain way, I could really feel it in my hips, and like the way that it was moving my hips. I was like, whoa, I haven't felt that. Like it felt good, but it felt odd.
Every
It was
time
kinda-
you describe it, I imagine some guy sitting in a basement, and every time somebody orders one, he goes like, "Ding! I got another sucker!"
Totally.
Well, mine
It's gonna be
is-
the new thing they trip over in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
Todd
yeah.
tripped over it last night because I sat it right by the couch. But then he got on it. You know, Todd works out all the time. He got it on his forearms, and he sat there, and he kind of in plank position, and he's like, "Oh man!" And it really kind of
Oh,
helps
that's
your core.
interesting. So I could see that.
Yeah, there's different ways. It's not just sedentary exercise, right?
Yeah.
It's about move. You got to be really careful also about how you use it and how long you use it, and you can or why
Shaken baby
you,
syndrome
or
kind
why
of
you
thing.
use it.
Yeah. Oh God.
Or
There you
why-
go. You had to squeeze one in here somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so there you go. According to my AI pictures, yeah.
Oh my God. It looks like it's paying off.
It is. Thank
Yeah.
you. I've
You're
done
welcome.
it for 10 minutes. You're welcome.
That's good.
So, Carlisle, when Michelle has to go to greet her new grandbaby,
Ooh,
maybe you could
yay.
be our co-host.
Yeah.
You
Love
and I
that.
could do the Mallet and Carlisle podcast.
Yeah, they're gonna mark my name out. That's it. I'm never
Sharpie
coming
marker.
back.
X.
I'm never going back. Change all the logos. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. Thank you so much for coming in, Carlisle.
you.
Like I adore you. I adore our friendship. I love the fact that we've gotten to know each other, so much better. And I'm really honored to call you my friend. And we are very excited that we have somebody like you here in Dripping Springs. And you keep doing what you're doing with your kiddos because they're good kids, and
are.
we need people like you to hold our children to higher standards.
Yeah.
And we write it Dawn because I want to
Yes,
find out who
right?
these girls are.
We write it Dawn.
We write it Dawn.
Yeah, I didn't know you at all before you joined Dripping
Yeah?
Springs Elite, and I've
Yeah.
got to know you, and I love you, and
Oh,
I'm
I
really glad
love you
that you
too.
spent
Thank
time with
you.
us today. So.
It's been so fun. I was a little nervous about it, but I'm like,
You did great.
yay. Thank you.
Thanks, Carlisle. Ready to turn your land dreams into reality? Look no further than Capital Farm Credit.
Need a loan for your perfect piece of land? Capital Farm Credit is there for you.
Their dedicated team will tailor a loan to fit your unique needs because your dreams are their priority.
Capital Farm Credit. Your land, your legacy. Visit capitalfarmcredit.com or Mark Rutledge at 512-892-4425.
Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better.
Capital Farm Credit, an equal credit housing lender.
Nomic Power Solutions, keeping you powered up.
Get to know your local full-service Generac dealer.
Cody and Dylan with Nomic Power Solutions are a veteran-owned, Texas-based Generac dealer and installer.
Offering low monthly payment options, it's never been easier to gain independence from the grid.
Call or text 512-387-4232 or visit nomicpower.com. Follow on Instagram at Nomic Power for updates.
Turnkey service including design, plumbing, electrical, and permits.
They even offer set it and forget it maintenance plans. Nomic Power Solutions.
Protect your home. Protect your family. Stay ready. Elevate your living experience with M. Elliott Studio, your trusted partner in interior design, registered and licensed by the state of Texas.
You want your home to reflect your personal style and identity. Investing in a well-crafted design doesn't just beautify your home, it enriches your life.
Team principal and owner, Montana Elliott, understands the profound impact of a thoughtfully designed space. From remodeling to full design, M. Elliott Studio is the first step to unlocking your style.
Turn your aspirations into reality. Tailored to your taste and desires, M. Elliott Studio will work to create an environment that embraces your style with style.
Your space, their expertise.
melliottstudio.com 512-781-0224.
This show has been brought to you in part by the real estate pros at the Mallet Integrity Team. When you're looking to buy or sell, you need them on your side. Why settle for less when you can have real estate done right? Give them a call at 512-829-2062 or get more info at malletintegrityteam.com.
You know you like us, so go now to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave us a review. Why don't ya? We love your feedback and comments. Email us at malletandmichelle@gmail.com.
Thanks for putting up with us.